Okay. Well, I'm glad to be coming to South Korea. I think it'd be a lovely place to go, considering we had the book translated into Korean a long time ago, but we've never managed to get there. So I'm looking forward to coming to Korea. And so personally, my background has been very much from a movement perspective for a long time. So my original background was the Yanda background, which I got at Queensland University when I was a student. So my background is very much from looking at from a manual therapy background, very much from most Australian physiotherapists, a manual therapy, looking at Maitland orientated background and an exercise background. So that's the standard physiotherapy background that I was brought up with in Australia. But then I was working at Queensland University on the teaching staff, in the clinical student supervision, and we had the opportunity so we started looking at the Yanda approach to a large extent, looking at sort of movement and movement control. And then when Vladimir Yanda was doing a sabbatical teaching at Queensland University, I had the opportunity to teach with him. So one of my mentors I've had the chance to teach with. And then I managed to catch up with work with Shirley Salmon. I spent some time with her in America, in St. Louis, at her clinic, and had some time working with her. And then the Shirley Salmon's background managed to fill in some of the holes in the Yanda background. The Yanda background was very much look for the restrictions that are causing movement control compensations, and then mobilizing the restrictions and doing strengthening. But strengthening didn't always work, and mobilizing the restrictions wasn't always the answer. And Shirley Salmon's approach was a little bit different. Her background was from a neuro point of view, so she did not come from a manual therapy and mobilizing restrictions background. Her idea was looking at movement and movement control. So Shirley Salmon's approach dovetailed in with the Yanda approach very nicely. Yanda was looking at the restriction side of things. Shirley Salmon was looking at the movement control side of things. And we had the opportunity at Queensland University when I was teaching there to blend them together into our undergraduate work to a certain extent. And that was at the same time as the research was starting into the local stabilizers. So I sort of had the opportunity to work from a Yanda and Salmon combination, looking at the restrictions and also looking at the movement control side of it, which was very straightforward, basically at the time. And then also the local muscle system control from the neurophysiology of pain. And then when I moved to the UK, I started teaching some courses integrating the local muscle control work with a bit of the Yanda and the Salmon sort of things together. Then over time, the research blended in together. There was a lot more research on the neurophysiology of pain and the neurophysiology of movement and how pain changes the neurophysiology of movement. And so that's where the kinetic control framework really developed when I was living and working in the UK.